I have that one exuberant kid yelling in the back.
We'll start there.
All right, well, thank you all for your patience while we were getting through some interviews. All right, meeting has been called to order. Now roll call. Annie?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Jason?
Here.
And Tim?
Here.
I'll let you approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion to approve the agenda as written by Brett, seconded by Jason. Those in favor? Carries.
On the minutes, I would like on under department reports, the third paragraph down about the boozers.
Mhm.
When I questioned that their dock size, it was reported to me that from Brett that it was too large. So I questioned it and then I was told, no, it is compliant.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Are you approving it with the
With the
change?
amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion by Brett to approve the minutes of April 14th with the amended words with Tim, seconded by Jason. Any further comments, questions? Those in favor?
Michelle?
Yes.
I move to approve the appropriation ordinance 1530.
Second. Go ahead, Michelle. She can second.
Motion by Tim to approve the appropriation ordinance 1530, seconded by Michelle. Any further questions, concerns, or comments? It's a roll call vote. Annie?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Jason? And Tim?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, public comments or concerns. Tressa?
We just wanted to say that we support what Josh is doing, getting rid of that building. It's dangerous, but we wanted to see if the city would support us on making sure that he gets the right information before he backfills so our walls don't collapse. We talked to him, he said he's working on it, but we're hoping that he can at least, what'd you want to say?
Well, we'd like to have an engineer stamp saying my wall won't be pushed in with that much backfill. That's all. There's gotta be support on that shared wall. You dump a bunch of backfill in there and expect that wall to hold it, so something's gotta be done.
Is this a basement wall?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the building wall, it's a shared wall.
Well,
It's a pre-existing
I'm
building.
just curious, what part of the wall is shared? Is it the roof only or are the walls actually attached to each other?
It's just a shared wall.
It's a party wall.
Yeah.
Is your wall
Both
still standing?
parties.
Is it completely gone?
All of it's
The
on
one
it's all on
attached?
the ground.
I mean, did you do that or
Nope.
was previous?
That was previous
Okay. So it's been gone?
for many years.
Okay.
I don't know if there was ever a wall there. There was a roof across the two brick walls. I don't know what wall he's talking about.
I believe this is a very valid concern, but I'm not understanding the city's role in this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is between you and Mr. Cott.
Not really.
No, not really. I agree with
It's
Tressa.
not.
It's an
Well,
issue that
it's
needs to
not.
be
This is what
addressed.
I would like to do for Tim. I wasn't gonna bring this out, but this will help the city and you guys and Mr. Todd. this is an example of what we do on every job. If the city wants to get it, just require this. Josh already has insurance. And if anything happens accidentally with the beam, if a kid crawls under it, he just makes he calls his insurance company and they make the city of Eskridge an additional insured. That covers the city. It covers all of us from anybody, and it helps him from getting sued from anybody. It could be somebody walking down the road, and that's all it is. It just says you guys are insured if there's an accident. So, but anyway, so
So you're
it would be
saying-
smart to just,
So I guess you're saying if he gets in there and damages my wall to the store, you guys, by allowing him to do that without a permit or an engineer stamp to go any further, that makes no sense to me. Jim,
I just not understanding what, I guess what our role is in this. And I might be wrong. I'm open
it's in the
to,
city of Eskridge, I mean,
it's in the city limit, but
It'd be no different than no-to. You go to tear a building, you backfill 8 foot of asphalt milling, so the building and no-to, they're gonna require a symbol. That's why I said I'd rather an engineer look at it. I think it falls on you guys too, by not having any requirements for him to do it. So if both walls cave in on both sides and both buildings collapse, I mean, that was on negligence on.
I think,
Our due diligence prior to
and
doing
I,
it.
and I,
Doesn't
and
that fall under the building permit?
It should,
requirements?
which with
Okay,
that's
which
the
we-
county's just gonna do.
Which
It's-
building
they just-
permit
they just
requirements? I
push it
haven't
back
seen a
and forth.
permit for
We
this
haven't.
building.
We haven't got to the building part.
Yes, but doing work to it, demoing it, I'm fairly certain that should also require a permit, and
Absolutely.
I'm not going after you.
Absolutely
According to Wabanti County,
We've
no.
looked and looked and looked. I've talked to the county, I've talked everywhere that has been informational, and there is no demo permit to be had.
So the city diverts to the county and the county diverts to the state and the state doesn't step in unless there becomes a problem,
County,
which is too late at that point.
so this is how it works. It's up to the city or the county to adopt the ordinance that says you're gonna get a permit for a demo, a permit for the building. Wabanti County does not require a permit for demo. Wabanti County does require a permit to build. A lot of these rural areas, not even Eskridge, a lot of rural areas. A lot of times the city will just have an ordinance that says the contractor or the builder will just sign a small piece of paper that says, I will follow the state codes. It releases the city, it releases the county, because the county and the city can't police that kind of work. They don't have the employees to do it. But it makes the city release of all liability because they have signed that saying that that person, and then when that person signs that, then that helps him if there's an accident. It helps all the neighboring people if it's an accident. And also that goes for residential in the county and commercial. But we're not talking about residential where somebody's doing something crazy on their own property. We're talking about 3 properties here.
Yeah.
I'm really not trying to be, they really don't want to cause any problems. I just want to maybe save somebody a lot of headache and a lot of money in the future. Because obviously they collapse that wall, but we got a lot bigger issues, which that's really our only concern with this plan. I think everything else is, that's awesome.
So you guys are worried about the fill in the basement.
I think he's right. The fill should be fine. I don't know, that's a lot of asphalt milling, but that's also a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on what he's wanting to bring in there. Sorry. Which we want. So that would just be kind of nipping in the button out, just figure out if it needs to. If it don't, then awesome. But if it does, it would probably be the best time to do it now, honestly.
And none of us are structural engineers to say yay or nay.
The trouble is we have to wait until we get it cleaned out before we can do anything.
And that's fine.
That's
You
what
can't
I'm,
backfill till.
that's right. That's where I'm at. Well, that brings me to my next question. So with all that being said, this is gonna have to take scheduling of an engineer to come out and do this. Right now, I have a bunch of backfill stationed at the forestry dump that Road and Bridge gave to me to use. I talked to Terry about this. This was before I talked to them. We were only planning on having it there for a couple of weeks. Now that this has come up, I may need to see and ask you guys to make sure we can keep it there longer. Otherwise, the only other option for me to put it is in the outer Main Street. And we're talking,
But why did we approve the
I-
tree
I-
dump?
I-
No,
I, 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 I,
no,
approved it.
that's construction material in the tree dump.
Well, when
it's
my,
just rock.
well, that's gonna come out. The rock's got to come out.
Once you put something in there, everybody else thinks they can put something in there too. And we get boards all the time. We get inspected on that tree dump. It cannot have construction material in it. So you're giving special privileges to someone who shouldn't have them because not everybody can have that privilege.
Well, I apologize. He told me we're putting dirt in there. I didn't see a problem with dirt because even if you didn't get all the dirt out, it'd stay in the landfill.
Absolutely,
like
there's a
everything.
problem. I mean, it's like
But
having a
if
pile
there's-
of gravel.
If there's rock in there, it will have to come out. I agree with you. It has to come out.
It's mixed rock and dirt, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna bring that up tonight regardless of whatever conversation, but it's a tree dump and it is inspected to continue to be a tree dump. We have to remove any construction material and it is considered construction material.
Mhm.
So I don't want to add a kink in there either, but that's not a place you can store that anyway. And when you said, I heard 1 week and then 2 weeks, I didn't think that was even a realistic timeline for, and you're doing an amazing job. I can see all that coming out. I mean, I'm shocked every day when I drive in there that how much you've done in 1 day, but that's still a lot in a 2-week window to make that guarantee. So I
You're
think
putting
it
too
needs
much
to be
pressure on
moved.
him.
And I appreciate that you have a space issue, but that's where you work with somebody to rent property or something to store it. But it can't be the tree dump. That's a no-go. That's on us now. I don't think it's out of line to at least maybe have some liability insurance. I have it for my own business. It doesn't take a lot.
I've already got it.
Is it for that property?
It's general liability all the way around.
Will it cover that building?
It should. I mean, I can call.
I-
I can call the
It's an
agent.
easy phone call.
Yeah.
And then you can take a lot of weight, I'm sure, off Tressa and your other building neighbor and us as the council. Like that would relieve a lot of pressure, I think, in this scenario, because you are using heavy equipment right next to their building, and I fully understand. And I mean, I ended up with a dumpster in the back of the post office parking lot. I can get in big trouble for that. And you moved it quick. We were all good. No big deal. But that's the kind of stuff that does happen when you're doing demo and construction. We don't know what happens. Demo is like that. It's very unpredictable sometimes. So I appreciate that.
Unfortunately.
I would love if we could somehow make that guarantee. I don't know that the city can hold you to it at this point, but that is something we are working on in our building ordinance. So if you could, that'd be great.
But I will say that the lack of whatever the city might have ordinance wise does move up the ladder. If the county doesn't have anything, then you have to follow state regulations. That's where that goes.
That doesn't stop the continuing demolition, right? The concern is the backfill.
The biggest thing is like obviously gonna be like waterproofing and supporting the existing walls.
Right.
With it, because it's like 7 or 8 foot tall. And you're talking a lot of fill.
Yeah.
And you're talking about moving semis on it. So
No,
it's-
absolutely not.
I thought that's what they're saying.
Nope.
That's definitely not a good idea.
Nope, it'd just be light on motor vehicles. That's it.
Maybe no different than like a basement wall. I don't know. You backfill it. I guess that's a lot.
Footings and stuff, yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about. You're talking about basically filling in the basement.
Mhm.
Okay. So continuing removal isn't an issue, but
No.
when it gets to the fill portion, we definitely need to make sure that we're not going to dump a bunch of rock and blow everybody's walls out.
And like Andy said, it is unrealistic. These guys are doing great. I watch them every day. There's only 2 guys doing it. I wouldn't want that much pressure on me either.
Yeah, I don't
That's
want you
crazy.
hurrying and making the risk
'Cause
higher
that's
as
when
well.
accidents
That's another
happen, yeah.
issue, yeah. Or hurting
So hopefully
yourselves.
you can give him a little bit more time on that.
Any more comments on this?
So I mean, I guess, what is my timeline for having to have the rock removed?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
I'm sorry that happened and that's the way it turned out. Honestly, it should not have been agreed to in the first place, but we can't have it there, basically. It should not have been. We do get in trouble.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay, Sally Davis, you're up.
You guys got packets on 405 Main Street? Or she got
Well,
the other
it
one
doesn't
first?
say that. It's and more.
It's in
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
It's actually 2035 Northwest Douglas.
Well, that's the builder's address.
Well, I was trying to give them the help.
Yeah. Okay.
She wants a
Address of the
new
permit.
garage and a new kitchen master bed. Put in there.
This is the old library, right?
Yep, the old library. There you go.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they're doing it with the setbacks that we require.
As far as I could see, everything was okay.
Where's your face? Well, it's good in
I move to approve.
a second.
I even double checked to make sure it wasn't gonna affect if the sewer line's down that alley, and she's gonna be clear from it.
And they're gonna get rid of this garage and replace it
Nope,
completely.
they're leaving that garage. It's kind of hard. It was hard to do it. It's gonna be here in front, in this area.
Okay,
Is where it's gonna be.
they're keeping this one in.
Yeah, I wish I could have got up above where I could take a picture downwards.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
It was hard to get a good angle so I could show you exactly where it was gonna be. On the front page, it kind of gives you an idea. See, like here's the old garage.
Okay.
It's gonna be more here, kind of over in front. Does that help you?
Yeah, is the door then on the side or are they still like
Got a
on the?
motion out of second.
You do that?
You know, she didn't say what it was gonna be.
Well, that's what I was wondering, maybe if it was this way the cars
I
were
wonder
going.
if the door's gonna be back here.
Oh, yeah, I see the door there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that
That's
you
a wild
mention
way
it,
to coordinate that.
I'm thinking maybe put it this way. But yeah, she doesn't show where the door's on that. I didn't even think about the door, Annie.
I don't think it's gonna be that way, but. Just
All right,
trying
we
to
do
make
have a motion
logic.
on the floor.
We're still discussing, I'm just clarifying things.
Okay. Motion by Brett to approve the permit at 405 Main, seconded by Tim. Is that right?
Yes.
Any further questions? Those in favor? Michelle?
Michelle, are you in favor?
I said yes.
Oh, sorry, we didn't hear you.
I see another permit in here.
Yeah, for Dean Hughes,
Yeah.
wants to put a prefab metal building in the back, 10 by 14.
Do we know where the sewer line is through there?
It's in the alley.
It's in the alley. And he's got a fence in between the alley.
I was just doing the math of the 15-foot easement and then they want 10 more feet, which makes it 25 feet. But I see 20 feet written down here.
I think it was 10 and,
15 is just a temporary.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
like
would
for-
say
Well,
Lisa
good.
can explain that part to you better.
Is
than
it another
Tim.
15 or is it, I thought it was 10 and 10. Is it 15?
Yeah,
15.
It's 10, it's a 10-foot overlaps the existing 20-foot setback anyway.
Yeah, the 10 foot is the
On
setback.
an additional 15
if this is
temporary.
not a violation of the setback, then
It's in compliance.
I move
Yeah.
to approve.
then our second.
Motion by Brett to approve the permit for Dean Hughes. Seconded by Tim. Those in favor? Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries.
Can we make sure we have the names on the, oh my God,
Department reports.
minutes, whatever. Just so-
Agenda?
The
Sorry.
agenda.
The agenda. My
Oh,
brain's not working.
Okay, well, since I attached the building permit on
Yeah,
the email, I just.
Normally that makes sense, but I take notes next to the
Okay,
name.
yep, I can do that.
And I have thousands of packets at home that I just comb through sometimes. So that was the
Not a problem.
Is this Dean Hughes or Dina?
Yes, Dean.
Dean.
Yep.
Just up the street from you?
Yep.
I mean, Marcia.
I know where they are. All right. Next thing, Brett Kimball, Park.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it says park. We
That's
can't
what you told
really
me.
decipher what that was, but I'll go ahead and talk to you about Devader and the concrete. So he hasn't had time to remeasure to the scenic byway, but I did talk with him about how we have a budget of like 20 grand and thinks that should get us to there, because then it was 38 total, which would go all the way to the nursing home. So he'll be in this area, specifically in Eskridge, like next month. So he would love to do it then when he's doing other jobs.
Sure, you have it.
I didn't hear what he said. He was speaking too soft.
So Devader's come in and re-looked at the sidewalk running past the scenic byway park to the home. He said he can get about from downtown to the park for the 20,000 that we have available now. And he would like to get that approved and going because he'll be in the area next month on other projects, and he could do that one at the same time.
So they're gonna be able to finish the one
The first half.
from town to
The Native Stone Scenic Byway Park.
The park by your house.
oh, okay. So how much of that, my front yard's gonna be gone?
Do we need 30 days for like
I think the
letters and
sidewalk
stuff
gets
that we need to
wider right
notify?
there. You're,
It'll be about 20 feet wide through your front yard. Does that sound good?
Is there any remnants of the first one that was there still for her to go out and look at? It would be
Are you
going right
talking
with
about
it.
Brickland?
I don't think there
used to
is.
be brick. There's still brick on the other side of Deb Keeley, where they tore that house down. That they would take down. So it's already set where the sidewalk has been before, because then there was the bridge that you crossed.
Have a sidewalk currently.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking. There's brick there at Achilles. There's none in that yard. If there was remnants,
Not
there,
even over by the creek.
we've run the sidewalk closer to the street before because people didn't want it too
well,
close to
there's
their
a
house.
giant ditch there, so there's really no
That
room
was a
on the
pretty
street.
wicked ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And they dug it out deeper when I lived there because it's a flood zone.
What's the
It's deep.
highway platted? How far that? off
I
the
don't think
highway
it
is
has
that
more
going?
than I think it would be very difficult to put it closer to the road.
No, I'm just wondering how wide the state highway is platted. I mean,
don't
it's
know.
wider than what's paved.
Well, because there's that bridge there, I think it comes in
Okay.
more narrow. That's what I'm saying is there's not more than like probably a 1 foot edge on it. Unless I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
Short story. We don't really know.
Well,
I mean, if we approve it, I was gonna talk to Jeff Romine and alert him that we were going to be doing it, and then he would be giving those answers, obviously. And he needs to be talked about for the second half of it as well.
Fill in the blank for me. What's Jeff Romine have to do with this?
He's KDOT.
KDOT.
He's the supervisor for this
Hmm.
district.
So it's gonna run in front of Keeley's and then Jocko's, and then I don't know who owns that house next door, but then straight off into the road, and then they go to the
And that goes
park.
like this.
That'd
So it
be
goes down
lovely to
here,
have a map.
and
If
then
only
it goes
we
like
had a map.
this. And then connects to the sidewalk that's already there in the park. This is the road.
So it does cross the road. Like they would cross the road.
Right there by the
There's
stop
already a
sign.
handicap thing to cross the road there. There's
Okay.
just no sidewalk to cross over to. So you're gonna add that, and this is the way that it goes.
Okay.
Because it's keeping them all.
Mark Hawkins lives next to me on the other side of the creek.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how it connects to the little scenic byway park.
It doesn't, it just kind of hangs out there by itself. There's a Y, the highway, and then this, what street is it that goes off?
Beta.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So there's highway, and then Beta. It goes off in a Y.
That would be nice to have.
And in that little Y is that cute little park.
Where is it here?
The junction is up there.
Is this the fire station?
Yeah.
So right here, it'll start right here. It'll go all the way down here. And then when it gets to there, it's gonna go up to here because it's connecting with the already existing sidewalk that will be connected here. That then will connect this all the way
That way.
the rest of the way to the nursery.
Did you see that, Michelle?
So it'll go to here this year, from here to here.
So from
This
the
is
bank,
already here, and this will be the last connecting part.
Come over there.
And when do you expect the last connection part to be done?
Next year.
Next year?
Was there a sunset on this sales tax?
It's a
It's
10
10
year.
year.
I think we've got at least 4.
This is like year
2018 would it?
or
When did,
2018. That would be that it's 7, so that they're
no, was it 2018 when you were deciding it to vote on it? I don't,
So 2019. I don't remember.
Okay,
the
I
year
just,
started.
that's kind of irrelevant. I need to look it up.
It's definitely not next year.
That's good.
I don't think we've been in it for more than 4 years, maybe
I
5.
think 5.
Okay.
Well,
we didn't do
3,
anything the
4,
first year because
5.
we let it build up.
I think we're on almost into 6, so we're at 5 or 6. Because I'm not sure we've done a leg at the park every single year either.
Right.
Sorry, I'm not trying to drag it
So
out.
Brett, you need a decision tonight?
Should.
Yeah, we're right
I
at
agree.
20,000 right now, just shy of it.
Okay.
And on the 30th of April, we'll get another 4,000.
I think it's fine.
I think we're all in
It's
favor,
fine.
Brett. Make whatever motion it is you need.
But you have time to do the letters and deal with that. We don't want anybody kicking off right when we go to pour concrete.
Right.
And if also folks would like to have a map,
I'm sure Michelle would love to know where that sidewalk's going in her yard, so she can.
We can have, I mean, I'm sure Lisa can print me off a map and I can highlight her the sidewalk. So
Right
that they
through
can,
the
Thank you.
garden. That'd be hell
Don't
of a
tell her
detour.
that. She makes good.
it'll run back to your shed and then back to the street. Is that
Was
sound good?
there ever a previous?
I don't think so.
There was.
I mean, at some point, probably, yeah.
Here, Terry. But that will connect up to there.
this way,
But
Well.
here.
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm keeping track.
I move to accept Devader's bid of work up to 20,000 to connect to the Byway Park.
Second.
Motion by Brett to approve the Devader concrete project up to $20,000, seconded by Jason. Any further comments, questions?
It will be 4 foot wide. I don't know if I said that, but
Those in favor? Michelle?
And
We can scratch that off the agenda.
yeah, we can.
Okay, next up, Kim Davis.
I have a lot of things to talk to you guys about.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know if you got a packet, but if you didn't, I can just kind of go through some things. First off, I just wanted to cover some of the things that we're gonna start working on. We did get the banners approved. We got a grant for that. And that was through the Dover Masonic Lodge. And I was just excited to get that. And they wrote a really nice letter for us. And I was just very pleased with that. However, they did not approve for us to get the poles that go with it. So I will show you in just a minute. I have a proposal for that. I did talk to Drew, but they're very expensive. So I think we're gonna have to look at alternatives. So some of the things, we also did get the $250 service grant through Buncie County. And so with that, we're gonna we did get the planter boxes already for Patty at the library, so so they'll be going out. And because it's a service grant, we are all gonna pick a day and go help do some things like plant flowers, hoping the committee will just come with me. But so we're gonna plant flowers, we're gonna paint the drop box, and then Hilda's Aisha asked if we could paint around her. It is really peeling pretty bad around her windows and door. So I told her I would get the paint, but we'll see. You know, it does require some scraping there. So we'll see how that goes. So that was kind of to match with our service grant. So do you have any questions about anything else that we're doing or how
What did you say about planters? I missed that part.
So I bought, because we're having a hard time getting the money for the large planter pots. So we just bought some, they're just real short. They'll go into the windows and they're wood. They're really cute. They'll probably be out this week. I'm just waiting for a big grant to be able to buy some bigger ones. But for now, she wanted new planter pots and I got that grant. So I went ahead and let her have the money for those. So,
Kim, I'm trying to come up with a more cost-effective alternative. I too would love to see some big old planters down there that won't get destroyed. Those are some things I just printed out today that are build them yourself.
Yeah.
The first one there is a homemade form.
Yeah.
But look at the other ones, and there's some ones that you can purchase.
Oh wow.
They're under $200. Look at the last one, and it's a I think pretty fancy looking.
Wow.
And the thing is, you get the form, you can reuse it.
Right. We did look into that. And I think Richard Orton met with debaters, but they were $1,000 a piece. So, and the molds were really expensive too. So these are handmade molds. So it could be.
Not all of them, just the first one. The rest of them are purchased molds, and they cost about 160, I think.
Oh,
was
really?
the expensive one. And that's for the big rectangular trough looking kind of.
Yeah.
But you can have that.
Okay.
Those are
If
just
you guys want to
ideas.
look at those and let me know what you think about them. But yes, I'm always looking at the pots. I think Boyd's sick of going around.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
Do the banners go down all 3 blocks of Main Street?
They are wherever the light poles are. So it's the 2 blocks. One of the light poles does go to the lumberyard,
Simple to build.
and one does go clear to the DRV. So wherever there's light poles, there's 10 banners that we got. So I think they're going to be beautiful. I really do. So all of that's going to start happening. The other reason I came tonight is to ask for a grant writer for the signs grant. I reached out to some business owners to see if I had to have at least a minimum of 3 people that would be willing to go in to purchase signs, and they have to be willing to put up the 25% of the grant in order to get the sign. And so I did talk to Josh quite a bit, and Teresa and Aisha, and some of them want awnings, and that is part of the signs grant. So that would be a big asset to our city to see those awnings, because that was one thing when they came back with the vision study. That was something that they thought would kind of bring back the characters to the city. So that is one thing that I would really like to see. The only thing with the awnings is they do have to have the business name on them. So I think it takes a little bit away from it, but it still would be like if it's just printed on the front, like this particular one right here.
Do they state
it
how
still
large
looks-
the letters have to be?
I really don't know. And that's what I'm asking for a grant writer for this one, because that grant is very detailed, and whoever would write the grant would have to meet with the business owners, and they would have to come up with a plan, and they would have to go to a location and have them build their sign, basically walk through the process of how to. And the sign grant is very particular about what signs you can get. So that's why when I put it on Facebook, I only put these 3, because there is a painted sign that's allowed, but I was partial to these. So those are the ones that I put out there, but those are options too. So, but it is a very complicated grant, something that I'm not capable of writing yet. I might get there, but Right now, it's just, the grant does allow for a 5%, and Annie, you might understand this better than I do, but they do allow for the grant writer to receive like 5% of the,
Oh, like to be paid under the grant.
yes.
Okay.
So I don't know how that works, but I would assume that if we go through the regional, Flint Hills region, they would get that kickback, right? And so would that take out? And
It may, I mean, it would be take like 5% of your total. So
okay, so it is a town have a max. This is one that they opened it on April 1st, and they're just, as soon as you get your grant in, they're deciding, and then they're just gonna go until they run out of money. So that's why I wanted to get to you as soon as I could, because I thought that that would be a good thing for us to get. So it would be the 3 signs so far, and we can get more, but Josh has agreed to one. Aisha and Tressa would really like to have 2 because she has the 2 buildings. And that would be something that the grant writer would have to read to make sure a person can get 2. But a person that owns, a single person can get 2 signs. But that is one thing that I'd like for you to think about tonight is, and I did go ahead and fill out the application for that. And I did make a copy for everybody. If you want to take one and pass it around, maybe I feel like a school teacher again. And it really lays out more details for you. And if you want to think about it, I will tell you that, and Josh might have a hard time right here, but I did call today just to kind of get some ideas on what is the cost of these signs. Awnings, a large awning is in upwards of $6,000. That would be like a 12-foot awning. Now, they were very careful to say that these are just estimates because, you know, until they come out and measure, but they will need the frame, so that makes it more expensive. Tressa did talk about a cabinet sign. Those are not as expensive, and the grant does not allow for them to be lit signs, which I was kind of disappointed in. So, so that takes half the cost. So they're around $3,000 just for a cabinet sign, a 5x7. And then Josh wanted an illuminary signs, and they won't allow for it to be lit up. But they did say that after the grant is through and you want to get it, put lights behind it, you can still do that. So yours came in around $2,000. But this was just one estimate. And that is something that the grant writer could go out. And I did talk to Stephanie Intherm today, and she has a great place in Emporia, and they're a lot cheaper than the ones that I quoted her. But she did say, you know, they are expensive. So be prepared for that.
Do the awnings, can you take them down during the bad weather, or are they just?
I think they're permanent. According to the, like I said, it's a very detailed, but I think they're very particular about this, the awnings, and yeah, I don't think you can roll them up. I think you build the frame and you keep them. So, from what I can remember with all that information, so. So do you want to just wait on that, and I'll just go through the rest of it and decide if you want to approve for that grant writer, or?
I don't have a problem for it.
So it's fine. Okay. So instead of having to come back here all the time, I thought maybe I'd just try to get pre-approval on like the benches. And I wanted to talk to Annie too to see if these were kind of matching what she's thinking about doing for the park. And it has like the metal benches. The bike rack over by our library is really in bad shape. I think we could sure use a new one. And it does get used quite a bit in the summer. And then the trash cans there. And then I've kind of talked with Lisa a little bit about light poles. And I really would like to paint them black and put some planter hangers on. But I have another idea tonight that I want to share with you too. So, but that is something I'd have to get with Evergy. Do they own those signs? Those like, I think those look appropriate for me. Any concerns about these particular?
My only concern is that we were wanting it to be cohesive with what was being done at the park.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And Annie, does it look like they are?
I mean, I would like these benches. We do have a green bench now, so I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
do?
Yes, I mean it just
Okay.
happened that way basically, but long story. But
Okay.
originally this is what I was actually hoping to do. I don't know what direction we'll go now at this point. I actually haven't ironed that out with the rest of the park board, so I don't know. But yes, I do like this design. I feel like it's Victorian. I think it goes.
Yeah. And I kind of looked back at the visioning study and looked to see what they had put in there to kind of guide me on what. And I did try to look at yours at the park too.
Oh, we don't have any of those
Oh, I
things.
thought you had a black one like this.
No, we have it's a
Oh.
green bench. That's the only bench we've
Okay.
purchased so far. So.
At the Easter egg. So if you
it's
don't,
green boards, black frame.
It is a black frame, so
Oh.
it would still work. Would still I think
Okay.
coordinate with.
That's black and white. So
there you go. Okay, well, let me know. I mean, nothing. I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you, and that way, if a grant came up, because they are starting to pop up, and the state has decided that they want these grants to be short, and they want people to submit them, and they want the money to get out as quick as possible. So that's kind of where I'm at. And if Stephanie says, "Hey, here's a grant," I want to be able to go for it. So that's why I wanted to kind of give you an idea on that.
Are you on the email list from the Flint Hills Regional Council for grants?
No, I'm not.
Okay, do you mind if I give them your email address?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I think they're coming out like every 2 weeks. Emails.
Okay. And then again, it talks about the Dover and how they didn't. So the lumber said that they would ads, and they're $20 a piece, around $400 just to get those rods replaced. So I got on Amazon today and I printed. The only thing that I could find, I tried really hard to just get the poles, but they don't. I searched everywhere. So the only thing that I thought to do is to go out and count and see if there's any poles already existing out in the city area and see if some of them would work. But these are still expensive. Like they're 300. I mean, I don't know if you guys have a tax code. I could take the taxes off of it, but yeah, you get the whole package. You can't really just buy the poles.
You ordered the banners already?
Yes, and I have ordered the banners.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like I'm in I don't know. I don't know really where to go with it other than maybe seeing if we can salvage some of the ones that are out in the.
I don't think you can. I
You
talked to
can't.
Mike about it. He said they were pretty bad.
Oh, they are.
They're like destroyed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think we've used them for a long time. So. I don't
Okay.
know. I mean, I don't see an issue with maybe fronting as bill as the city since she's taken the effort to do these signs, design them, order them, get a grant for them. I think that we could cover the rest. But I don't know what you guys all think.
I don't have a problem with that. The next project for the city is Main Street, so.
I can continue to look. I looked before I wrote the grant and I wasn't able to find anything cheaper than those. Unfortunately.
Anything for us?
I don't think so. No, it's our sidewalk.
There's like a sidewalk, isn't it?
Well, that fund's tapped out now for the year.
So maybe make a motion to approve it.
Is this, would you prefer this or would you prefer to go through the lumberyard?
It depends. It's up
Like,
to you.
do you need the equipment that it's got in here or not?
I do not,
So,
because everything is already on the poles.
okay.
So I just need the poles.
What about a metal specialties place? Would they be able to provide you just need the sticks, right?
Yeah. And Drew said, you wouldn't believe it. He said, I have called everywhere and said, I cannot get you a cheaper
And are they fiberglass, Kim?
Yes, they are.
Hmm.
And I wonder if it's because they need to be, well, the ones that were there weren't very flexible, but with the wind gusts, if they,
I think
have to withstand
before,
that.
didn't they use just the hell rods? Weren't they just wooden
Yeah, they
handrails?
look
That's
like
why
it.
they didn't live.
The flex ones probably help protect the flag as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll notice on these two, it has like a safety tag too that will kind of help, doesn't it? I don't know. I've looked at so many. But no, I guess this one doesn't.
So we need a total of 20 of them?
Yes, because there's 2 on each. Well, on this, we need 20 poles from Drew, because he would order them individually. With this, it's a kit. It comes with both of them.
Oh, I see.
So I only need 10.
Okay, that's what.
What?
Which one's cheaper?
This one.
This one would be cheaper.
Yeah, because Drew's came in at 400,
What's this one coming in?
359, 20, and I think maybe we could get the tax taken off of that.
I mean, I don't think it'd be bad to have the installation kit just to make sure.
Just have that.
Spare parts.
Yeah,
You never
I
know.
kind of thought the same
You're
thing.
talking $40. I'd rather go with
Right.
the lumberyard.
That's exactly what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Brett.
Support the
And I
local
thought
business.
So is that a motion?
Sure.
I'll second.
So for 400, you want to put a price tag on it? What was it at the lumberyard?
He said exactly $20 a piece, so it would be 400. Even.
400. So they would get the tax, you would get the tax off of that.
Potentially, if she uses the city's.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, should be.
Okay. And 400.
One.
Not a penny more, right?
Give her.
Okay, motion by Brett to approve the purchase of 20 poles through the Eskridge lumber for Envision Eskridge not to exceed $400. Seconded by Tim. Any further comments, questions, concerns? Those in favor? Michelle,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, you got it carried, motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, and then I did set this meeting date to be May 21st. I have not checked with the senior center. I will do that. I did have another couple questions. I wondered, because we haven't quite got the website set up, if in the meantime, if people were to donate, if it was okay to drop off the checks here at the city building. And I could use the address to put on our Facebook page in the meantime. But they are working on it. I'm working with I've lost it. Where our 501c3 is. They're gonna help us get a website
KRCF.
established, and
KRCF.
there you go. So I just wondered if it would be okay to put that address and drop off checks here for Envision Eskridge.
You have concern with it?
Okay.
I don't either.
Yeah. Kim, you said May 21st, right?
Yes.
Yes, Michelle.
Did you say the time?
Okay.
Yeah, it's
thank
7.
At 7.
And is it okay to talk about one more thing? I'm gonna run. Okay, so Lisa and I've kind of been chit-chatting back and forth a little bit, and I happened to get on Google Maps, and every town that I look at has these beautiful lampposts that run through their town, and they are very, very pricey. So I reached out to my cousin who's an engineer with Evergy, and he's like sent me within 2 minutes a grant. So the grant is for $10,000, and it wouldn't provide full lights for the full city. But I thought maybe if I could just, get a few now and maybe, keep working on grants. I will not stop until I get them all. Like I'm just that kind of person. I don't want to leave half the city with lights and half the city without lights. But
Is this that light program that you can upgrade your current lights?
Yes, it's called the Evergy
Lighten up.
hometown grant. And I did put his name down, my cousin. I really need your help with this one. It is due this Friday.
Oh gosh.
And I have been working on it endlessly, and I just really want to know if a couple things. This is very complicated.
For a light pole, the benches are this much money.
No. Just to fill that shape.
Oh, cheap. I thought you
Oh,
were saying
okay.
expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
So, and I'll tell you why, Brett, because here's the deal. We have the current city streetlights, which set up very high. They're, I'm guessing, a 16 to 20 foot void, and that we were thinking. So, it makes things very complicated because the electric runs up through the tops of the city streets. So, when I looked through on Google Maps at all the towns like Burlingame, Council Grove, Alma, they do not have that electric running up. They have already put it down in this. So that is one thing whenever we're working on, sidewalks, I would really encourage that is if we could get the electric down underneath the streetlights, because so it leaves me with very few options, and I'm just coming to present some options with this. So I don't foresee Evergy, because they will come out and volunteer to take down the current city lights or leave them, put up the new poles, and provide electricity to them. The only thing is you're going from 20 feet down to these particular ones you can adjust them. There's 8, 10, 12, or 14 feet, whichever you prefer. The ones that I looked at look like they're sitting around 12 feet. They're just low enough that you could put planter pots on them and you can water them, and you don't need to get a ladder out. That type of, you could shoot water up there, whatever. So I don't know what our options are. But anyway.
Electricity next.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. Yes. So I guess what I am asking is if you guys have any particular ideas. I thought about solar, because if we bring them down and we leave the current lights, we could put solar panels on these lights. They do take away from the beauty of it, but that is one thing that would sell us better for Evergy, is that because their whole thing is how is this protecting the environment and saving energy. So that is one thought that I've had. I don't, if we could, get them to bring the lights down, the electricity down. I don't know. I'm at a loss on how to light up the town. But that is the name of the grant that I'm writing. It's called Light Up the Town, because I think these poles set the town off. They're beautiful. They'll have the banners on them. They'll have the planters on them. And I just think it would be just such an asset to our city to have those. Now, when the company came out, this was the one, they wanted the lantern poles to be in our city. That was something from the past that the city had. These particular ones are called the acorn style. They're pretty cool too. And then you've got the double acorn style. I would just kind of like for you guys to give me an idea of which one you would like.
I think the question too, Kim wants to ask you guys, when you guys was talking about putting the new sidewalk in and all, was you thinking about burying any electricity underneath it for if you wanted some future light poles, or
I don't know if we planned that far ahead, but
That
it should
would
be.
have been the obvious plan. We can't do any of the sidewalks on Main Street right now because contractors will not do any work in front of some of the buildings because they're afraid that they'll fall while they're jackhammering or removing.
This is kind of corny, but that's what we're thinking.
I think, I could be wrong, but wasn't the park thinking about putting light switches or light sockets at the bottom of those poles for future vendor events?
I'm hoping, yeah. I haven't got the
Right.
bid out or anything.
But even so,
that would be my
that
goal.
would be something that they're
Have plugins. But we're burying our line.
Yeah.
How you run electricity to these new poles.
Yeah.
And we
And
could
we
go
have to
without
figure that
electricity till we can figure it, you know.
I mean,
If I go ahead and write the grant and then, you know, that can be something we can figure out. But
that's something you guys gonna have to think about,
How to
And
light
you
them once
want
we
it.
get them.
run electricity or how we
Well,
light.
if you put in the solar, you wouldn't have to run.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You have to have a solar panel on
That's
it.
really like that idea.
You still gotta
I don't
have
like that.
solar panels to the light.
Most of them, the solar panels.
Right above the light.
Each pole.
Why are you
its own-
going old when you're running new technology?
Or how are we gonna bury this line? That's not.
Kim, I love this light pole idea.
Very much.
You go through St.
I don't
Mary's,
think it-
all the street signs have poles like this also.
I think it's just-
Stop signs, everything.
Oh,
It's
really?
awesome. I love it.
that would be so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Do these match what you guys are thinking at the park?
That's the other
Oh,
thing is
yes.
to keep it all cohesive. We don't have
that design plan.
we don't have
Oh,
that either.
I have a
so-
picture in my head, but that doesn't mean it's
But
what's
this is-
approved. Yeah.
And
But no,
and it
I do
can
like,
change,
The
I do
picture
like
I
all
had in
these.
my head is almost exactly this first page right here.
which is the acorn one.
Yep, single.
That has been.
I like that one.
One thing Terry did
That one.
mention is that we're hoping to have like a plug-in access at the bottom of our light poles in the park. I don't know if you could do that on Main Street as well, or if that would be
Yes,
Some
that-
risers.
outlets,
Because because that is going to be the big thing if we're able to get some holiday lights or
Yes.
so
Or
what
fenders.
I called them today and they said that the one particular design does have them, but it ups the price so much. And she said, I'll be honest, you can just insert them yourself and put them in there,
Okay.
and that way you'll have them.
Okay.
But if we went with solar, I don't know if that would work.
There's a way that I don't exactly.
I don't think that.
I don't think you're gonna sell us on the solar thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Picking for me.
Okay, I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to figure out how to get them, get electricity so I can get them.
Mhm.
But if I did have to go the 14 feet up in the air with these, is that going to be the look that we really want? And so that we can keep that electric line, because what happens is on the side streets, the electric line runs across those. And I don't know if there's an ordinance or whatever you call it, like a regulation that you have to have it so much, so high.
It's gotta be across there.
That's a tight timeline and a lot of research before
Yeah, I know.
Friday.
I have been doing everything that I know how. I just,
Honestly, once you
Stop.
ran them with the line above, could you even redo them to be?
Oh,
buried?
yeah,
Is
you
that an
could.
issue or no? Okay.
Oh,
Is it
that would
an
be-
expensive issue? Could we fix it later or not? Is my question.
yeah. I would call them tomorrow. and find out.
For the big ones.
Annie,
Yeah. if we-
Yeah.
could you get me a picture of the light posts you're talking about?
Yeah. I'll send you one now.
Okay.
I mean, can we do it one way and then change it later? Is it?
Yeah, I think the way it's an adjustable
Not one
pole.
of those phones.
Yeah, I think it's an adjustable pole.
I'm about to start FaceTiming everybody on it.
It's how you mount that pole to the ground.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Where
And that's going to be another thing that I would have to have the city do. So I would need debaters or someone to come out.
the height of your pole. And actually, the taller the pole, the bigger the base you gotta have. The shorter the pole, the smaller the base.
But that could work into
So
what we're.
the problem
replacing with
is
sidewalks eventually.
on that side of Main Street, half of that block isn't gonna get any of them because nobody's gonna be drilling into the ground and doing anything in front of the fronts of those buildings because of the way they're bowing out, because they don't want to vibrate, shake, shift, anything to cause it to come down. And it is to the point where that would happen.
When you build that base, do you build it above the cement or does it go down? It goes down in. Okay.
It's gotta go. The one,
Yeah, that would
the
be
ones
good, yeah.
she was looking at, that's only 10 foot high, the base has only gotta be a 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch square. So you would cut concrete, you saw through the concrete, and you'd have to dig down. It's right at 30 inches. Is what the base is, what they're recommending.
My other question,
30-inch depth.
Yeah.
So-
The base
Like
has gotta
almonds?
be poured about 30 inch
I
down.
don't know.
Did you measure their height?
No, but I did look at it, but I didn't get a chance to run up there and measure it. But they are very low. They don't sit very high at
Yeah, I
all.
felt like those were 8.
They're like
maybe
8 foot,
10.
I would say.
I think 8.
Now, if you,
It produces a lot of light on their main street.
that's what I'm saying, whether they're tall or not. And the lighting, I think, would be such a good safety issue for us, especially, like, I leave the library sometimes at dark and you can tell it's not very well lit. And so and this is kind of like something kind of elementary that I put together, but it would just kind of give you the ambiance that we're kind of headed towards. And
Also when there's storms, because if the lines are underground, you're not gonna lose the lights like you do when you're.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got what we got, you know.
is this, how frequent is this grant, or is it a one-time?
I really don't know.
Okay, what was it called?
It's called the Evergy Hometown Grant.
So those hometown grants, I'll tell you probably every quarter. So if you feel like maybe you don't have the answers, and you could double check this and make sure, or you need more time, I will say it's probably gonna happen again.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I
St.
know
Mary's used a grant when they got theirs.
the hometown grants are frequent, like we've been
Okay,
told to
good.
keep applying basically, but so that might be an option, is maybe we just don't have the answers for this
Right, yeah.
yet. Maybe it's something we can plan into next year's concrete work. Obviously the buildings are an issue. I don't know how to solve that issue.
You can definitely bury it on this side. It's that side that's the concerning.
Right. So that's the, maybe that's something we can plan in full, is light poles. Maybe we can make holes for trees. Maybe we can start planting more decorative. Right. That's what I'm saying, is maybe we take this another step further and it takes a little more planning. Maybe we're not quite ready for that, but
Okay.
obviously find out. I don't want this to be the one shot and we just didn't get it because it was over.
Sure.
But that might, we definitely don't know the answers and we're not going to find them tonight.
Yeah. We're probably not. I just thought maybe I would try because
I love these. I think everybody else does.
I like
from what I can
I'm with you
tell.
guys. I like the acorn ones.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think that would go well with what we would
You
like
were
to
kinda
do in the
thinking.
park. Yeah. Definitely Victorian. I like the black trash cans, the black benches.
Yeah.
We'll wear longer shorts, Jerry. God.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm putting them shorty shorts on. No, I'm just
I think that's all I have for today. Do you guys have any other questions or?
Keep on keeping on.
Okay.
Looks
Kim,
good.
I just have one question on that
Okay.
Flint Hills Regional, that grant. Does Terry need to sign that, or do you have a representative sign that?
Ooh.
I
Sorry.
think the member organization is Eskridge, City of Eskridge. The representative.
Okay.
Where-
We'll sign it.
So, okay, you're the authorized. That's what I make sure.
That's just the application to get a grant writer, isn't it?
I don't know what I did.
Isn't that just the application to get a grant writer?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I'm just clarifying for my own.
Yeah, but the first part of it says member information.
Yeah.
Member organization is City of Eskridge.
Basically, you're gonna apply as the city, but you're gonna be like partnering with the city
Oh,
as an
okay.
organization. Because for us to get the grant writer, we're the member organization.
Right. But I didn't know. I didn't
That's okay. It's
understand that.
not a problem.
Yeah.
We'll-
Okay.
We'll get
We'll
it.
get it signed.
Okay.
So this might be a good time to bring up the other side. You guys had talked about doing the CBDG, Limited OP grant. And so I was wondering who signs that application? So is it Terry?
For what? What do you mean?
Because we're gonna do the big grant that we talked about this week.
Are you talking about for
So to get the grant writer.
which CDBG? There's been so many. I don't know where we're
Remember the
at.
name of it?
No, I'm sorry. Which
Paying for
which
their
thing
grant.
are we doing the CDBG for? I'm confused. Because he's talked about the IGA building. I'm trying to figure out what you're referring to.
Oh, right. No, it's not the
We're
IJ.
applying under the blanket of an agent of the city for the building that the housing authority purchased.
So Stephanie Graham's other building.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so I just didn't know, we're still waiting
Now our
on,
building.
bids on exactly how much it's gonna be. But I wasn't sure exactly who signed it at the city.
If you're doing a CDBG, I think you actually have to do the grant before the bids.
It's asking for an amount.
You do want an amount, but you're basically giving an estimate.
Okay,
So you don't submit the exact bids. You may not be able to use those bids.
okay, cool.
So
Thank you.
definitely talk to the grant writer. But yeah, I would assume it would be the same form that she just handed.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the IGA grant is not a CDBG, it's an EP grant.
Right.
And it
Told me
goes
was
in. and the
CDBG
next-
the last time I asked you about it at the table.
I know, I think I just was low on sugar
That
or
makes a
something.
lot more sense
I
because the
think I'm low on
CDBG is
sugar.
a giant
That's my
mess.
excuse.
Is
there a But limit it's- that the and-
city can apply for?
And that's going in,
Depends on the grants.
that's going in this week, tomorrow or Wednesday.
Awesome.
The key is to not have things competing with each other.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, for a while.
All right.
Do we have is there more information on that? Cause I just never
For me?
really, on the EPA thing that we never really passed it or approved it. So I just don't know that much about I know we're talking about remodeling that building, but,
Yeah, the first thing is get it all cleaned out before we get to remodeling.
oh, so you're talking about
To clean up.
I'm doing the cleanup
okay,
right now.
that
And
makes so
there's
much
a-
more sense.
Pretty good chance that's gonna get approved.
Okay.
Even though it's about $1.6 million. No cost to the city at all. I hope you guys don't renege on that.
Sure.
Get her done.
I know for this one.
And then after that's cleaned up, then we could go for the next grant, which would be the CDBG grant, to have it turnkey ready to, when it's done at the city hall, moves right in just like that.
That'd be sweet.
If we got some money for it.
Well, I'm working on getting that paid for completely too. Good luck with that, right? I know, I'm just
I have
saying.
no idea what you're
I like optimism.
referring to, so I don't know.
Okay, next up. LDB
So this is the,
service proposal.
Down.
You let the
boy.
dog
All Aspen,
Labrador? Is that what LDD stands for?
this is LDB Landscape Architecture and Engineering. This is their bid basically to do the drawings, deliverables. Sorry, if you were able to get through it, Appendix A actually gives you the details. So she's gonna complete the design components for us, and though we cannot start any physical work, she can start on this right away. All design or engineering documents are due to us for the CDBG within 1 year, so it is best to get started on this and get moving. And she is extremely detail oriented, so I'm sure it will be a long process. I took notes, but I don't know where I put them. Basically, the overall bid is 65,000. It is within the budget of the grant. Her deadline would be March 14th, 2026. She helped us write the grant. She's also the one that helped she did the design for the park for us. She is, I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with her. I would highly recommend it. She is extremely detail oriented. Like to the point where I'm like, it's fine. We're good.
I have a question about the underground electrical wiring.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have things pop up periodically just for outlets? Not a pole with light on it,
No.
but just purely an outlet?
Basically, we're just not anything like a shin banger type scenario.
Paxico, you put like a fake rock with an outlet on it.
Oh, I hadn't
And
planned
they
that,
don't even look like
but
they look like a rock.
now that you brought it up, we're not going to have the funds to do all of the lighting that we would like to do. So that might be a viable option to use in the meantime to have plugins. And
If
stuff
you
like
had
that.
the outlets there before, then
I didn't know that existed.
when Paxico had their bring your stuff and sell it in the park
Yeah.
thing that Leslie sets up, that was one thing that they all said they wish they had way more outlets than they had.
Okay.
Whether you have the street lights, at least you have the dang out.
Yeah, and I think as it sits, we're running, and I'm sorry, this has been a long process, so I don't know exact numbers. We're running the electrical for several of the walk lights around the park. So just what Kim was just talking about, that's what we're talking about, those light poles. We don't have the funds to actually pay for all of the light poles. So I think 10 is where we're at for installation, which I would think would be more on the outer rim of the park. And then what you're talking about, we should be running electrical through as well along the sidewalk and stuff. So I think that would be a really good option for until we can get those poles in there as well. That'd be kind of cool. So I didn't even know that was. I thought you were talking about just an outlet.
No, not
sticking out of the ground. I was like, that sounds like a terrible thing. But no, that's a great idea. I'll check into the pricing on that and see if something.
And you could probably even use some of those placeholders for
that's what I
where
mean.
light poles.
Yeah,
are,
in the meantime, until we can do. And it might be we can't afford to do outlet boxes on every single light. So the rock would be another option as well. So.
And
So do you
do you
need
really
action taken on this, Annie?
Yeah, I need this passed if you guys are okay with it.
Passed or accepted or?
Yeah, I guess
Accepted.
accepted.
Okay.
Push come to shove, you could tell me to go get more bids, but she's been with us since we started the project essentially, and I really think she knows her stuff. She is very good. And on the stuff she doesn't, she does have written in here that she'll get us, a licensed surveyor for this utility location and topographic map. We'll have an engineer for the creek bed. We'll have an architect for the bathroom. Those things she wouldn't do personally, but she would contract out as well.
And are you the client that signs?
You would sign as the city. You've now accepted the CDBG, so you're going to be doing the signatures from here on out. Okay. We're not done, but we're
It's
just
a start.
consulting at this point.
I would move to accept this bid.
And
I'll second it.
What was the question, Lisa?
how much is the bid?
65 up to 65,000.
Okay. From LDB Landscape Architecture and Engineering, so, okay.
Yes.
A motion to accept the bid by LDB Landscaping and Architecture and Engineering LLP for up to 65,000, seconded by Michelle. Any further comment, concerns, questions? Those in favor? Michelle?
Are you in favor, Michelle? Did we lose her?
Yeah, what do you sign?
Shoot. We'll take it as a yes.
She seconded.
Motion, yeah.
Motion carries regardless.
I think you'll probably do initial. The other papers too.
Before we can get done
You
with
call
it.
them and about your pole that you're dangerously close to. They might do. My wife works for it.
The trouble is where you put it.
I mean, you could. Why not?
That would be, because Clay owns the north side of me. So I'd either move it on this side or that side of the eye.
Well, if you can answer that question, I can't. But they might do it for you.
Well, I'm fairly certain if we get gravel in there, it won't be as much of an issue.
Right, but they don't want you to hit the pole either way.
Do I give this to you or should I?
Could you scan it and I can email it to her?
Okay.
But you did initial all the pages. She will come back to me on
What was
this.
that concern about the
Yeah,
commercial?
took care of that.
Trucks
All right.
and traffic and this.
Next up, alley maintenance. Use this. Josh?
So we talked on the last meeting, we kind of approved gravel on the alley behind my place there. But we were into the predicament, we weren't sure what we needed.
How much?
I measured, the alley is 537 foot long, it is 10 foot wide. There's should be two deals in your package. One will show 4 inches, which is standard for an alley with a base. Ours does not have a base. The second estimate that was punched in there is for 6 inches thick, which is what I would recommend because we have no base. So if we did 4 inches, we'd likely be back there again in a year. If we did 6 inches, that time just lengthens. I'm pretty sure those are the numbers you guys were asking for.
Yeah, thank you for doing the math on it as well.
Yep.
Because I forgot to totally do that.
Well, I'm thankful for Google because it would have been a pain in the neck.
That's a nice
I'm not
little
good at
sheet.
math. I'm not good at math, and that was very, very nice. But what I was going to present to the council, we kind of talked about how I had to volunteer to spread the said gravel. That's still the case. I have now acquired a dump trailer that I can haul 10 loads at a time. I can haul the gravel as well, and it makes things nice because the back of the dump trailer is designed specifically to spread gravel. So I can spread it just as easy with the gravel and less machine work at that point. So therefore, if I can get the council to agree to pay for said gravel, I can deliver and spread the gravel, and then we'll be done with it.
I see one price.
There should be two. One should
Where's
be
the other
like
one?
1,600 for the 6 inches. The other one should be about 11 for 4 inches.
One more.
I don't have it because it's.
You have 4
that's a
pages?
packet. No, I must be. I'm looking, I swear.
Well, here's like 1,100 on one.
I just wanted the price. That's all. 1,100. Yeah, 1107.
That's for 4
That's
inches
for
thick.
4 inches.
Then
15, 16, 30.
we kind of asked for measurements on how long the alley was and how wide and that kind of thing, but we didn't really. I'm the one who got in there and decided, okay, listen, we need to know how thick we want this. We can just go put a single base layer, and then people driving on it several times, it's going to sink. So like I said, I really recommend going with the 6 inches thick. The other option is to go with 4 inches of clean gravel, but before that we would have to do the same amount with like 3-inch rock to create a base, and that's going to be more money on that point. So my best calculations would just go with 6 inches of clean gravel and be done with it, and we shouldn't have to mess with it for at least 2 years.
And you would go and pick up the gravel and
I would go get it
deliver
from the meters and bring it. It would
shred.
take me 10 trips and 90 yards, and 90, I think it was 90 yards, or is it 90 ton?
99 cubic yards.
So it would take me 10 trips and I could have the alley done. I can haul 10 tons at a time.
What do you guys think? If you do 6, are you gonna still be back there in a year because that was the base layer, or is it good?
Could be all right for at least a couple of years, I would guess.
Or is 4 good too?
Based on the research I did, 6 inches will buy us 2 years.
When I put my 2-track in, I'm 6 inches thick, and I've worn it level just driving my wife's car over.
I spent a whole afternoon doing the research on this just for this project.
I like the 2-year deal better.
I can see it. So I would make a motion that we go with the 6-inch thick gravel for $1,660.51.
Or round up just to estimate here, or
Well, that's an estimate, so you don't want to be exact on a figure. You might want to go 1,700 or 1,750.
So I'll amend my motion for 1,750 up to 1,750.
If you see that it's going to exceed that, you'll need to stop and let us know.
That's fine.
you might have to check a couple times before you realize where it's at. Yeah.
Stop a foot short.
Oh, sorry. I second.
Okay. All right, motion by Jason to provide up to $1,750 worth of gravel, 6-inch thick, layer thick for Josh Cott to pick up and spread
For
in
the
said alley.
before we vote on it, it didn't elaborate in the minutes of what Todd's concern was for the commercial trucks and traffic in the city alleys.
That's kind of been squashed. I have since been to the county and pulled the process for.
Been approved?
Not yet. I have to go before the to be able to approve the permit. However, get on a technical spectrum, the trucks that we drive are just 1-ton trucks. They don't even have DOT numbers, so federally they're not considered commercial trucks. I don't even though I carry commercial insurance, I am not required to. So I also drive a 3/4 ton truck that weighs the same. That is my personal truck. So the danger is still there, whether it's commercial use or not. But to abide by what Todd was saying at the last meeting, I have started the process on the conditional use permit. It has been resolved.
So do we wait to approve this till it's official, or do we go ahead and do it?
I'm sure it'll pass the zoning board. So they don't have
You
any
know,
reason.
Brad, it's going to the committee the next meeting. She told me.
But
that.
doesn't the letter have to go out to the neighboring people
Everybody within
She
1,000
didn't
feet.
and they have to
Yes.
as
So
well approve
we have
it?
the-
'Cause if you get one that doesn't, that's pretty much gonna.
Well, no, they'll come and plead their case to the zoning board, and the zoning board will make a decision. And that's how that'll work. It won't be one neighbor can shut it down. That one neighbor can come and plead their case, make a complaint against it, and it's anybody within 1,000 feet of the CUP.
Is that the board you're on?
Yes.
He knows what he's talking
So
about.
it's anybody within 1,000 feet of the CUP is notified. They have 30 days. They'll get 30 days notice by letter, which I'm sure they've
Right,
already
but I'm
been sent
just
out.
making
And then
sure
they
that
will
this
come to the
is-
board. And if they have a concern, they bring it to the board. The board takes their concerns into consideration and makes a decision. Then we recommend they will send a recommendation to the county commissioners and they sign off on it, or send it back to us to try again. But unless there is a.
So we won't get into any trouble by
No.
doing this.
By maintaining our own alley.
No.
That's
What
not
he
we're
does with
doing.
it is
We're
his
doing it
business.
for the business. That's the reason why we're doing it.
Well,
That's why he came in
ostensibly,
and asked for it, and that's why we're granting the permission. So I'm not against it. I'm just making sure that we're not approving something before we should.
I think Scobie Rose did the same thing in that scenario. We wouldn't have been.
But he's already, you mean Luke?
Yeah.
But that's already a business district alley, so that wouldn't have been. This is a residential alley.
Well, I
You're
mean,
saying,
I think
can we get permission to be doing something, obviously, for commercial use before it's even approved?
I think at
Is
worst,
that wise?
we would be demonstrating our approval of his business.
He's doing what he's doing, whether there's gravel in that alley or not. We're not approving or telling him to stop. We're just merely maintaining an alley that we should maintain.
Exactly. He's been carrying on business for quite a while there without any prior approval.
So
We're gonna gravel that alley, but don't you break any laws on it, all right?
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, those in favor? Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, motion carried, Josh.
I'm gonna revisit my alley plan from like 4 years ago.
All right,
You need to just make a little board,
mayor council concerns.
spread stuff up there.
Gotta wait a few years.
Council,
And then you-
mayor council concerns. Anybody from the council?
Yes,
I do.
I've got a quick one. The dumpster has been very, very heavily used. Can we afford to keep it around for a little while longer?
I agree.
I ordered one today for at least
It's
this
been
week.
full
I did
for
just get
2
asked
weekends.
again because they got a
The
letter
Friday when I left,
to clean up.
it wasn't full, and when I drove
Yeah.
down Sunday, it's
Holy cow.
like,
It's
holy
piled
heck,
today.
yeah, so.
Part of this
anyway.
is self-serving because Mrs. Waugh, who bought the great big house up the street across the alley from you, your wife, sorry,
Mhm.
she's cleaning up the darn neighborhood, and I want her to have a place to put that junk. one little wagon at a time. She's hauling it down there.
I felt so bad for her yesterday. I
Yeah.
almost took my truck up there.
I-
Oh my gosh.
I like to keep the dumpster for another 2 weeks, a month.
Let's go a month and then play it by ear. I mean, that thing's,
So extend till the end
Okay.
of May?
I got a question then.
well, time out. I do have a concern because of the fact that I threw a whole bunch of computers in there and one by one, those computers got hauled right back up the street.
To your place?
Oh, no.
I know
Past
exactly.
your place. Your wife's place.
I mean,
As
$630.
long as they don't notify.
That's actually not as bad as I thought they would be.
Afterwards.
I keep seeing
Um,
the appropriation.
I will second it.
I also
Absolutely.
went down there and the
How much
the
have we
back
spent?
door of the dumpster was open.
I think we're at $1,800. Well, no, it's more than that. 630 times 3, 18.
1980.
1890.
Why are you
Yeah.
talking about extending this? 1 week, 2 weeks? I don't think a whole month. You don't think
1880.
Are you thinking a whole month?
6
That's
times
what I was
30.
thinking,
Well,
yeah.
people
That's
just
another-
started work
What was-
from
$20,000
630.
potentially.
2 of the 4
So
weekends,
1890.
the dumpster was full, so nobody could do anything on
And
weekends.
I get that entirely.
I mean, it was empty Friday and it was full Saturday night.
So we're definitely sending letters and people are, I think, using it. As
I
far as I
have a couple that I'm concerned about. I don't think they're using it.
did tell
I've
them.
already sent them a second warning. If we're gonna extend it, I will send them a third warning.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I did explain that to one of them, that the reason you're getting 2 letters is because we have a dumpster. There's
I'm
no
doing them a
excuse.
favor.
Let's go.
but
Yeah.
once the
Get
dumpster's
rid of
gone,
it at our
it's
cost,
the
not
next
theirs.
step.
I think we have a motion on the
I
floor.
missed,
second.
I missed the motion.
Oh, I didn't hear
What
it. I'm
was-
sorry.
To extend it for another month.
Who made the motion?
Right. And seconded by Jason.
I will tell you guys, I do know one of the days I posted on Eskridge Watch, I had a non-resident city person ask if it was just strictly for city. So I'm also scared that we're having outside residents.
Well, also the cameras need to be fixed. I mean, it's
Amen.
been 2 months that they've
Oh, I
been
have. We
broke
not
at
talked
least.
about
So
that. I didn't know they were out until
that's, I mean,
last meeting, I think.
when they went through and broke into all the businesses on Main Street, it was out. So
So do
I
we need
asked
to,
Mike, but
I mean, it's been over 2
Not the
months,
case.
2.5 months.
so is it, they've just stopped working? Are the inside ones working too?
Yeah, the inside is. The outside, it's just lead against the brick, I guess, and it's just frayed and broke.
Using your cable.
Do we
The
need,
wind.
are the cables messed up?
Yeah, like I said, I told Mike, we have the cable. He goes, oh, I wondered what that box of cable was. Anyway, so
Okay.
Hopefully, can we
Prioritize that.
make sure that that's done before the next meeting?
I'll send him a message.
So we are gonna extend the
Yes.
for another month.
To the end of
Okay.
May.
I think,
Look.
should we vote?
We didn't
We
vote
haven't
on
voted
it.
yet.
That's true.
That's fine
We're
with
still
that.
discussing other things instead of the dumpster. Okay, those in favor of the motion. Michelle?
Motion.
To extend the dumpster for another month.
All of them?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes.
What you say?
She guesses.
On the topic of dumpsters, I just want to bring up real fast I do have a scrap dumpster parked behind the fence here. I just want to make sure it's okay that it's there, considering the issues we have with stuff being put on other city property. It's out of the way.
I don't have a problem with that one.
I just want to make sure that, because it was kind of agreed upon outside of the council, so I want to make sure that everyone's on board, and it does say right on it, metal only, so I shouldn't have to deal with residents putting.
When I
Did you
saw
put
it,
on
I
your
wondered-
private property
You say
again this
that.
time? Did you put private property on there this time?
No, I did not.
You did on the last one.
It wouldn't
on my
surprise me
trailer.
if somebody uses it. I mean, it's right next to.
I will say when we
When I
scrapped
saw
the
that dumpster-
bandstand, people were done.
I wondered if people were using it.
I'm concerned too, but there is an extreme amount of scrap in that building. We found several transmissions, several car body parts, all kinds of stuff. So,
Car body parts, did you
oh
say?
yeah, doors, pickup beds, all of it.
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
So there's no reason to throw that stuff away.
He wasn't the only one who
Um,
caused it.
And I just had to have somewhere to put the dumpster. And unfortunately, the guys
That's
that
your
dropped it off over at the post office lot.
Trying to vote on it.
And I ended up having to move it. They dropped it off when I wasn't here, so that was kind of out of my control. But anyways, I just wanted to bring it up, make sure it was okay that it was there, and I wasn't gonna get dinged for it later.
I will say that he cleaned the alley up real good, I think.
We were on.
Yeah, the tires.
Let's vote on
picked
this
up all
motion.
the- Brett's gotta
Before
go.
we
Well, we were
lose the
just waiting
motion.
on Michelle.
Oh, she said, I guess. Okay, we did vote on the motion, so it's voted.
Yeah. Motion carried.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right,
Sorry,
any
I
other-
have to go.
any
Yeah.
other council
I have.
concerns?
I have
KCC
to
violation.
Please carry on.
I don't have an answer on that. I'll find out
It
tomorrow.
was a paperwork thing.
So, yeah.
It was not kept up, but it was supposed to be a clerk duty, so I think that's where it fell short in the process.
Is it cleared up?
I don't know that part, but I think they're working on it, yes. It wasn't actually Mike's error, technically speaking, so. One of them, I don't know the other one. He told me, but I can't remember now.
Okay, I have one thing if you guys don't
I'm
have
not
anything else.
done.
If you guys don't have anything else, I'm saying. So if you got something else, go ahead.
What's yours?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I would really like to have some more notice for interviews. Telling me at 12:15 on a Friday when the office is already locked up, that we're having interviews on Monday at 6:15 is not adequate notice. We've had those applications for at least 3 weeks. One of them was dated January.
I think the
So
problem
I
is-
don't know why we would not be told or at least provided. I've asked for the applications repeatedly. However you want to give them, I would just love to look at them before we actually get to the interview process. I'm not going to do anything. I don't know why it's a,
Everybody had the same amount of time as you did.
no, Terry, did you
yes.
get them at 12:15 on Monday or on
No,
Friday?
I've had them before, but I'm the one that makes the appointment. The interviews are a courtesy that you guys are invited to attend. It's not
I
mandatory. to all
find
be
that
here.
that behavior is not being transparent to the council.
Well,
I
you know
don't- we
what?
work
Well, let me
together.
just say this. We try to work together, but we don't. Every interview that we've had prior to tonight, I have asked you guys to come
We've done
here.
at the table.
I've asked you guys to come here with 2 questions each for the candidates and to be on
So
time.
you're
And so when
using
people,
this
just a
to
minute,
derail
can I
my
finish?
I can't hear him when
concern.
you're interrupting.
Can I?
I was the one talking in the first
You're asking me a
place.
question. I'm giving you the answer.
I actually didn't.
Well, I'm
Go
not giving
on.
you guys that courtesy ever again because you don't follow the rules.
What are you talking about?
Don't ask me that now when I'm trying to explain it to you and you won't let me. So
You
go
don't
ahead and
follow
finish.
the
Go ahead.
two-question rule.
Go ahead
apparently.
and finish your spiel.
Terry wanted to have us do interviews a certain way, and he didn't like how we did them, so he's gonna punish us by not letting us know.
No, you're
This
not
is
being-
a transparency issue. You are not being transparent with who's
Really?
applying.
Do we get into that here tonight? You want to get into an open session about transparency or the lack of it
Absolutely,
with everything that goes on in this
because you
town?
just did it to me and the rest of the council on Friday.
I gave you 3 days notice. How much time do you need?
To do what? Because
To-
none of
to-
us could get in here except me, because I had a key.
Well,
I don't think the rest of them do.
were they not offered keys a month ago when the locks were
Do
changed?
they need to have a key?
Well,
for-
they need to come in and get their email information out of their, they need to get the information out of their inboxes, do they not?
For council meetings? It's
For
emailed out
whatever.
on Friday. They
For-
don't even
for
have to
whatever
come
they
in.
need, whatever they need. Oh, come on. That's what you're getting ready to say. But that's why you guys have keys. If you need to come down to the office or
Some
something.
people
you
don't
don't.
feel secure having that many keys out, and they don't want
I
a
wasn't
key.
offered a key.
Everybody was offered a key the night that it happened in here in the county meeting, in the council meeting.
And they were
Everybody.
recently changed, so you could technically have an old key and not know that you
They
did.
were.
Because
they
I
were
didn't
changed-
know
they were
until 2
changed
meetings
around-
ago.
I knew they were
First of the
changed,
year.
but I was not offered a key. And I don't necessarily want a key.
So you want to hear why I did that? You guys want to know why I did
Sure,
that?
I'd love a reason for not actually being open about it.
Well, I'm going to give you several. One of them, I make the appointment. I don't have to have anybody in here for an interview. I can interview whoever I want on the that's on the applications. I can interview them myself, and then I can make an appointment. And then you guys can decide yes or no, you want them, or not say anything, and no action gets taken. Is that correct or not?
Sure.
Is
Do
it
you-
that part of it's correct, right? Okay, now, in the past, we've had interviews. I've asked the council to provide 2 questions for each candidate and to ask the same questions to each one. We've come into this meeting and somebody would start and then we'd rotate around the floor. When the next person came in for an interview, we'd start with somebody else instead of going in the same sequence. And the questions got asked that other people had asked. They didn't stick to the thing. And now you've got people that are looking and scrambling for what question am I going to ask now because so-and-so just took my question. Has that not happened, Tim? Has that not happened? That has happened. And how many times have we started an interview at 6:30 to be done by 7 o'clock and we can't get done because of that kind of BS that goes on? So no, you were not given an opportunity of more than 3 days to prepare your questions. And by doing so, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to listen to what other people were asking and steal that question from them when it came time to ask the next person in line.
Well, and tonight, you didn't give anybody a chance to ask any questions. You took it upon yourself to do it.
I believe you're mistaken, Michelle. Everybody had an opportunity to ask questions.
Not liking the format we've asked questions is not a valid reason for withholding information.
I tell you what, then from here on out, you know that if I'm still mayor and more interviews need to be done, I will conduct the interviews by myself and you can come in and listen to them if you want to, but you won't be allowed to ask any questions. How about that?
If you don't want to have a partnership with your own council, then how do you expect
Don't
us?
even go there.
Then how
Don't
do you
even
just
go there.
said you are cutting us out of the interview process?
I said if that's
how
what
do
you
you
want,
expect? You're cutting me off
you don't
while
need
I'm
to,
talking.
you don't need to yell at me.
Then
Stop
stop
it. You
talking
stop
over
it.
me.
You're talking over me, so stop it.
Holy cow! I feel like I'm in kindergarten again,
Well, you might be.
and not because of my own verbalizations here. Terry, my point is that just because you don't like the way the interview process went does not mean that you get to withhold information.
I did not withhold any information.
You
You had
absolutely did.
access to it. You had access to the information.
No.
Nobody called me and say, hey, I don't have a key. I can't get in the office to get the packet. Will you come down? Will you get it for me? Nobody called me. Why didn't you?
I had another source.
Did you call her?
I actually
Yes.
have
Did she
a
get
key.
it for you?
Yes.
What about you?
I didn't care.
You didn't care. And Brett's not here. I can ask him. Yeah, he did. 20 minutes ago, maybe 15. I don't know.
I think.
About 15.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I do. I feel like you guys did breach our IT security, and I am going to talk about it at open session because there was absolutely no reason for us to have any contractors with full physical access to our equipment. And I'm not putting this at one door or the other because I think, well, honestly, Terry, I think it was you. But not understanding that giving someone access to the hardware is a security issue is crazy to me. There's a couple numbers on the back of a modem that can give you access to spy, actually physically use our computers. And that's what happened. They physically were in person with our computer. So if you want to get a bid, because yes, we did know that you were looking at
Thank you
bids,
very much for admitting that.
but that's
For bids.
not how we thought you were going about it.
Well, first of all,
I'm not done. So let me finish.
well, okay.
You let people in the building to physically interact with our equipment, which is a security risk. You could have simply provided them a hardware equipment list and a list of the services that we needed. It's that simple. They had no reason to actually access our equipment. That is a security issue. So I want to clarify that because I don't feel like it was represented correctly in our email communication. And did we not review the contract prior to actually bringing it to the council or prior to seeking bids for other contractors? Because it does now sound like we are in a breach of contract, and that's an issue.
Well, I didn't sign any contracts for the city, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what that statement means because that contract was approved in August, so it should certainly have a signature on it.
My signature ain't on it.
So we didn't even review it before going to look for other
I question the
contractors.
validity of the contract because of that. Todd's looking into it.
Seriously. So
Yes.
you're going to try to weasel out of that contract?
Weasel?
Weasel.
No.
You know, I mean, I'm
No.
gonna interrupt. I'm only trying to save the city.
Absolutely. And that would have been valid
Well,
when
I
we
wasn't
did
aware-
renew it.
Well, I had two people. They looked at the model number on the desktops in here just to see if they were Windows 11 capable.
Okay, and I fully understand that, but
And
that is
you know, I
something that
guess
should not have been done
to
in
be-
person. It is
You
an
know,
equipment
Jason
list.
said, you know, he wanted to be able to compare apples to apples.
I get that.
So I guess I thought they would need to see what equipment we had just to, I mean, they did not breach anything here. I don't know what happened anywhere else, but they did not breach
And I'm not
anything
saying they
here.
breached
But I was
the
only
computer.
trying to save the city. 20 grand.
Yes,
20 grand.
but
A
that
year,
contract
a year.
continues to stay that if we close that contract early, we could be out another $20,000.
Well, if we're out $20,000, think about this, guys.
Oh, I can do the math, but why pay a
So how much-
penalty fee?
How much are we
Lord,
gonna
can we
say?
let
How-
someone finish a
Yeah,
sentence,
please.
Really?
You have interrupted her. You've interrupted him numerous times.
Yes, for my own concern. Isn't that interesting?
I understand that you're concerned. Let them finish their point and then put yours out there. We're all listening. Most of us are mature adults. Come on.
If it costs us $20,000 to get out of that contract, how much would we save over the next 4 years?
80,
40,
60 if you
40,000 is the actual math on that.
Well, we're paying him 24,000 a year.
So
Yes,
for the next
so
4
you're
years,
paying
it
this
costs us
year-
$48,000.
A $20,000 penalty, and then, well, I guess 60,000 if you're doing 3 years of payment.
So
Well-
worth it or not, save 60,000. Is it worth it? You guys
Ish.
want a cop in town, don't you? How you gonna do that?
Hold on a second. We're throwing out that it's a $20,000 penalty. That is just for the breach of that contract. It doesn't include any subcontracts that he has to have to watch anything else, which he mentioned in the emails, that if he's canceling his contract and we're getting billed for the breach of contract, we may also be billed for other long-term contracts that he's got subcontracted out. So it's not just $20,000. It may be $100,000. We have no idea what's invested.
So you have no idea for what's invested. So do we just drop it and forget about it, or do we pursue it and try to find out what the
No,
cost
this
is
is-
going to be?
By all means, we can see what the cost is going to be. But my preference here is to continue getting bids for another contractor that meets the same requirements. My problem is we had a contractor come in who knows better than to do what they did. So that right there makes them a bad actor. And it could have been something that they weren't being nefarious to the city, but they may very well have, in that few moments where they were looking to see if it was Windows 11 compatible, added something to the system that causes us a problem to make our current contractor look bad and make themselves look better. Even if it didn't cost us anything, it's still a bad business practice. And those guys knew what they were doing was wrong.
I can guarantee you they did not.
Would ask them if they'd ever let
Access.
somebody in look at their systems.
They did not access any information on the computer. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
here, maybe.
But it doesn't matter if you access information on the computer. Having the physical computer in front of you, just a couple numbers off the modem, you can get access. You can remote access. That's how Chris remote
Okay.
accesses things.
okay.
And
I'm not IT expert. Like I said, I was just trying to help the city.
And we
That's-
appreciate that. We really
That's
do.
all I was trying to do. So
We just have to go about it. the
And
right
Chris did say there was no breach.
way. Yes, and I saw that. It's just a matter of we need
Principle.
to be careful.
It's the
Yeah, we need to
principle.
be careful with these things. Definitely in the future, that can't happen again.
And for your information, I had nothing to do with those two people coming in here. Nothing
I
to
thought
do
you
with
said you were present on the
it.
email.
I was here when they showed up. Yes. And that's what I said. I was here when they were there, and they did not take any photos like we were accused of doing. But being here and authorizing them to come down are two different things. Calling them on the phone to come down and do this is another thing. I had nothing to do with any of that. I didn't even tell her to do it. She took it upon herself because of the minutes that you guys approved, that we needed to look into it and get more information. That's all she was trying to do.
I get it, and I appreciate that. We just didn't go about it the right way. And that can get dangerous and expensive. It's just something we need to pay attention to in the future and be more careful with.
I still think we need to look into that.
By all means, I got no problem getting bids for other contractors with an equipment list on a list of services they provide and comparing that to what Chris offers. One of the things that Chris mentioned in those emails is that the reason they're cheaper is because they're a passive detection system. They're not proactive. So, which essentially means they're looking forward for threats and preventing those threats from happening, whereas another one of these companies may merely react to an attack, which may be the difference in cost. Then it becomes an issue of,
Which becomes a question to those businesses.
Right.
What can they provide for the
Yes.
same service?
so we need a list of what they offer more so than we need a direct comparison to what we have. And then we could talk to Chris about, hey, what's your counter for this? And give him a chance to counter bid that too. We just don't want physical access to our system. And being in the location is physical access enough. I spent 18 years doing InfoSec and CompSec for the military. You don't even want them in the building if they're interested in your computers. Remote access is stupid easy in this day and age, and we just don't want that threat. So we don't want them here. We would just like a bid from a distance, and that's what we need to look for. And I'm down with that.
Some of this could have been mitigated just by reviewing his contract, because it sounds like he actually would assist us in this process, not just have an issue with it. So
Clay?
Just a comment to go off of what was just said. You know, giving someone the access that we did, it's unprofessional right off the bat and unethical maybe at worst. You know, that's just the way you say that should never, ever, ever have happened. Not even close. I can't believe we don't know how to get bids. That's
if they do need that information, that's as simple as an equipment list, and you know, you can get the software listed from Chris if we needed that as well. But it definitely should not be person contact.
Okay. You have anything else, Andy?
No, that's it.
Jason?
Nope, I'm good.
Tim, are you done?
I'm done. I'm waiting for whatever your subject is.
Memorial Day, May 26th. It's a Monday. You want to change the meeting night?
And your ordinance says that if it falls on a holiday, it falls the next business day, but this much in advance, you
We can
can
plan on
adjust that. But like I said, the ordinance does say if it falls on a holiday, it's the next business day.
I don't have a problem with the next business day. So
I don't either. I just won't be here. That's fine. I mean,
you're on vacation.
I will actually be on vacation as well.
I won't
so.
be back I'll be back the 27th. My plane arrives like at 6 o'clock on the 27th. Kansas City.
So he definitely would make that.
I don't have anything on the 28th. How did you feel about that?
That'd be fine too.
Vacation.
You'll be
I
gone,
couldn't do
but you'll be
June
back.
2nd.
I'll be back. When are you're back now till when?
Well, I'd rather not say this on camera.
I understand.
Personally,
I think I
She
heard.
won't
just
be back.
done, but
Okay. Can you call in?
I can try. Wouldn't be my favorite activity on.
Well, and if we've got a quorum, I mean,
We'll be all right.
Sure.
You want to go with Wednesday, May 28th,
Let's shoot for that.
7 o'clock?
Tim just doesn't want to sit in as mayor.
Oh, that's right. I wouldn't. I would have had to.
Okay, that's all I got.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Does anybody have recommendation? These phones are,
Mm.
we got them from CenturyLink Embark however many years ago. Well, I
Yeah.
think it was,
Wow.
I know, but
We need a new
I
set.
can't get the answering service to work. I mean, I've got a manual, it's a 3-inch notebook. But I'm guessing they're obsolete anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
But if people could think of somewhere to reach out to, do you know where the bank got their upgrade through?
Oh shoot!
Yeah, I think about
I
internet
think it's pretty pricey, but I can ask them.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't need what they have, but I just don't know. I've
I
looked
don't
like
think
at
there's-
Brightspeed to see to call about equipment, and I can't find anything on their bills that
Yeah, they probably
to
don't.
do
anymore,
that,
I
but
bet.
I can ask our IT guy at work about the internet phones that we use.
I don't know, cause this one here, you can hardly hear on it.
I don't care about
Yeah.
internet phones. I've got those.
No.
That's what the school district has, and I talked to Mary Hughes, and she said they're not good at all. So
I can't recommend the post office phone because it's internet.
Some
It's
it's not,
Wi-Fi.
and
It's the phones themselves, not the line. So why
yeah,
wouldn't we
it's
just
just
replace the phones?
well, and it's because they're the capabilities of transferring and all this. I mean, there's a big network thing in the storage room there that. Anyway, I just need an idea where to.
I'll
maybe-
ask what the bank.
Well, I can do that tomorrow
Okay.
too.
You might ask what they used to have too. That actually might be.
Is this something else that Chris could work on?
I don't think he does have a phone
I don't
system, but I don't know.
Because we have one at the shop that you used to be able to intercom down there, and when the weather gets, and supposedly that service has gone away, but when it rains, my phone will start ringing, shop calling.
And he never called.
Well, like I said, I know for KCC, we're supposed to have after hours that in an emergency. and
That's what I was gonna say. Is
and
we
we
probably need
don't.
to look at some kind of
So
call system anyway.
Okay,
So-
move it in there.
anyway, okay.
Kids are there and come.
Well,
50
I'll
minutes,
dig
good.
through and see what I come up with.
Mice don't like that.
Okay,
I'm
Okay.
thinking two-legged rats. I'm gonna go adjourn.
Second.
motion to adjourn, seconded by Jason. Those in favor? We are adjourned.
All right, Michelle. Adios.
My chair is all down.
Yeah. I noticed.
No, that's cool.
It's a mess on the chair.
So you just hang it up physically, Lisa?
Hit the upside or the.
This one?
Lisa, you don't need that light on, do you? We can get that
Is it
tomorrow.
supposed to blink?
Well, see, that's a message. Dan.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
It was blinking earlier today. When I come in,
Hang up the blinking phone, would you?
Hang up the blinking phone. You put the emphasis on the right syllable.
Right.
Well, it wasn't 10 o'clock.
I don't want to get up. I'm kind of comfortable right now.
I'm afraid I'll pee if I stand up.